When a man has erectile dysfunction, he turns to the internet in hopes of finding a unique, magical solution. But the truth is, 95% of the remedies offered don't work. Once again, the man, having lost a fortune, sighs sadly and searches for ever new solutions. Today, I'll tell you what foods you can eat in your daily life to at least indirectly influence your own testosterone production. But before I begin the list of foods, and there are only 3, I'll point out that you shouldn't rely on any magic pills, ointments, poultices, remedies, or supplements. If you're having trouble sleeping, for example, and you wake up feeling tired and low on energy, you haven't slept enough. If you tossed and turned all night, if your wrist grip is less than 50 kilos on a dynamometer, and the subcutaneous fat layer below the navel is more than 5 centimeters, then, of course, if you don't normalize this naturally, testosterone will not increase due to anything, unless we are talking about hormone replacement therapy. And I'll start with a purely male product. Garlic and onions. Yes, what is unique about them? It has a bitter taste with a specific smell, and it is often associated with male products. Lard, hot borscht, mustard, garlic. These are all things that cause such a rush of endorphins, and are very popular with many men. But in fact, it reduces cortisol levels, and cortisol is a stress hormone. How does it reduce it? Garlic has an additive called alliin, and the other is allicinase, an enzyme. When they combine, like when a clove of garlic just sits there, nothing happens. When we crush or cut it, a strong odor emerges. And at that moment, these 2 substances combine to form allicin. Allicin is the substance that smells, that we can smell, that takes a long time to evaporate. And this substance lowers cortisol levels. Cortisol and testosterone are formed from the same precursor, cholesterol. So if a person experiences chronic overload, stress, and so on, cortisol is produced in large quantities, and testosterone, accordingly, drops. So they're like scales. If there's a lot of cortisol, there's a lack of testosterone. The second product, something you can eat every day, and it's truly a storehouse of beneficial micro and macronutrients, as well as vitamins, is walnuts, especially their membranes. These membranes between the kernels themselves are very rich in iodine. They even make a kind of tincture with these substances. It contains vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, PP, B vitamins, zinc, magnesium, selenium, and iodine. These are the substances directly involved in testosterone production. Vitamin A and E are involved in spermatogenesis, meaning vitamin A stimulates the production of new sperm, and vitamin E is generally considered a hormone-promoting vitamin. It not only increases sperm production, but also improves sperm motility. This means sperm become faster, taller, and stronger. Therefore, it's a very important product, and we can consume it in our daily lives. Plus, it contains zinc and selenium, which act on the prostate's local antibacterial immunity. They also participate in testosterone synthesis and increase the prostate's local resistance, thereby preventing prostatitis. Therefore, this product is indispensable on a man's diet. How much can you eat? The recommended daily intake of nuts is 30 grams. That's about 5 nuts. You don't need more because they are very high in calories and contain more fat. So you don't need to overdo it on the calorie content. That's it. 5 is perfectly acceptable. And the third product, thanks to which none of the above is worthwhile, because without it in your diet, nothing will be absorbed. Everything will pass through the intestines, and testosterone won't be produced. Or rather, it will be produced, but in small quantities. And before I tell you about this third product, I invite you to a private Telegram channel. If you're interested in such a complex process as erectile dysfunction and the mechanisms that cause it, the causes and most importantly, the self-help techniques you can use yourself to restore your erection, understand the problem, and be well-versed in what to eat and what not to eat. The link will be in the description. Come, it's very informative for us. And I'll move on to the third most important product, animal protein. If there is no lean meat and fatty fish, then there will be no carriers for the nutrients that you eat. What I mean is, when we eat, proteins, like carriers, take these nutrients, micro and macro elements, vitamins, that is, everything that we eat, amino acids, and transport them in order to make small bricks from these large ones that we have in our body, the construction of new cells, the synthesis of new hormones, enzymes, and so on. All this happens thanks to animal protein. That's why we eat poultry 4 times a week. Lean, what is it? Chicken, turkey, quail, well, rabbit maybe, but not poultry. both lean and fatty fish. Clears throat. Fatty fish includes herring and trout, but only wild. Not farmed, but wild. Many people ask, can I eat freshwater fish? Freshwater fish is also healthy, but the problem is that it's often contaminated and polluted, meaning it's prone to parasites. Therefore, if you're absolutely sure the fish is well cooked, meaning you've cooked it thoroughly, and while sea fish has plenty of parasites, river fish is also more likely to have them. You can eat freshwater fish. Fish also contains omega-3s, which are essential for our blood vessels in general, and for men, specifically for the blood vessels of the genitals, because omega-3s protect the inner lining of the genital arteries. If they're protected, atherosclerosis isn't a concern. Arterial distensibility is complete. In this case, eating fatty fish is, well, atherosclerosis prevention. These are omega-3, vitamin A, and PP vitamins. In other words, the entire storehouse of microelements and vitamins is found in lean meat and fatty fish. And I wish you a balanced and healthy diet, so that your testosterone will be produced and functioning at its full potential. This was Irina Leonidova,